a friend I got to send a birthday wish to. I got to remind myself of that. I will do that. Whew, real quick. Because, ADHD girl could forget. So today we're going south of the border with some rotisserie chicken. I'm still filling up my sink with goodies. So we are going to start off by making some tortilla soup today. And I'm going to need, how hot is this? Pretty hot. Okay. So I'm going to sit this. We have blistered some Anaheim peppers. There were no poblanos, which is what the recipe called for. So the best substitute for poblanos is Anaheims. But we are going to start with, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this or not, but we're going to start with our onion in our soup. We're going to move that over here because we're going to cook some other things real quick in a skillet. So I think I'll wait to turn that. Well, just got to be really careful because that's going to go on high so it gets hot. And we're going to slice ourselves up an onion real quick for this. As you know, I always keep a trash bucket, if you will. Keeping an eye on my sink so it doesn't overflow. That would not be a fun thing to deal with today. So how's everybody's day going? If anybody's here, just say hey, say hi. What's going on? New month. Kind of. We're still in the new month, I think. When you're in the first week, it's still a new month, right? So I had lunch with a friend today, and I had the annual, I'm being sarcastic, it's the second favorite day of the year for women, medically speaking. It wasn't the lady doctor, but today I got the mammogrammed, so we're good for another year. I already got the results. Nothing to worry about, which I don't really worry about that, but I think every woman worries a little bit about that. So, and I don't think about it any other time of the year, but the day that I have to go and have that done, you always hope that things are going to be wonderful. I am lucky in the regard that there is no history in my family of breast cancer. So I'm lucky that way because I have some friends that did not get that luck of the draw. So I've actually had two friends that have had breast cancer. Fortunately, both of them caught it very early. So, hey, Chrissy. Oh, happy Tuesday to you. I was just saying I didn't go to the lady doctor, but I went to our second favorite thing that we do, or at least a lot of us do every year. Went and got the mammies grammed. So, good for another year, which is always a good thing to hear. So, nothing but a little bit of dense tissue, which I've had my whole life. So it was really bad when I was drinking a lot of caffeine. But I don't drink near as much caffeine as I used to. So the last couple of weeks I have, my ADHD has been really bad, and caffeine helps me a little bit. So I do not take any meds for my ADHD. But caffeine does help me focus on days that I'm struggling. Today I made myself a chai latte. That was fun. I'd never done that before. I'd never made one. I've had them, but I've never made one at home. So we are making tortilla soup. Chicken tortilla soup. And I'm just taking rotisserie chicken, and again, I'm cutting up my onions. I'm cutting up my garlic. Yes, it is a huge blessing, Christy. Um, I'm cutting up my onions and garlic. If you don't have time for that shenanigans, use garlic. Use, I don't know, dehydrated garlic. Use garlic powder if you need to. So whatever you need to do to make it easier and workable for you. That's the way I look at it. I don't mind doing these things. If I did, I wouldn't do them. So I would find something else to make, or I would find some other way to make it. So we got our garlic nice and crushed. And for those who don't know, there's a lot of medicinal qualities to garlic, but at the time or when I think of it, I will cut these things in advance and let them sit for about 10 or 15 minutes to let the allicin that's in them develop. And I know a lot of times they'll tell you to put the onions in first, put the garlic in later because you don't want to burn the garlic. Today we're not worried about getting the onions too cooked. We just want them a little bit soft. So for soup, you just kind of want it to let its smell flow, you know? By the way, you want to hear something funny? I'm still finishing up, friends. I'm still finishing up that chicken and sheet pan vegetables from last week. So that was actually breakfast today. I prefer savory breakfast. I am going to turn this on since would help. Turn that down to 6. Okay. Just let that start warming up. It takes a little while because I'm using the, it's not hot yet, I'm using the rock crock again. So, not caramelized today, Teresa. We'll do that one of these days. I don't know that I'll do it. I might do it like I said, where I chop them up in the morning and throw them in the crock pot on high for a few hours. It makes the house smell amazing. I can tell you that. We're just going to let this sit there and let the allicin do its thing. I put onions and garlic in pretty much everything. So, yeah, it was a lot of chicken. It was a lot more than I thought there was. So, which I'm fine with. I've got like one more day. So, that'll be fine. We certainly got our money's worth out of it, that's for sure. Several meals. And then, that's that no waste thing again. I do this. I know people throw away more of the onion than I do. And that's fine. You do you. That's what I tell people. All right. So there's our onions and garlic. And I'm going to put those on kind of low. There's some olive oil in there. Let that heat up. And then IT guy helped me with, we've blistered some peppers. So as soon as this goes in, we'll work on those. We'll work on those peppers real quick. Most recipes call for poblanos, but my grocery store did not have poblanos today, or whenever we bought them. They only had Anaheims, which is the best substitute for poblanos. But hopefully I'll have a lot of poblanos, not in the not too distant future. I have 4 poblano plants that are about this big. So we will see how they do. We'll keep our fingers crossed that peppers seem to do okay around here. It's some of the other stuff that you got to worry about. So I'm going to turn this up just a smidge. So these have been steaming for about 10 or so minutes. And once we get the soup going, then we're going to chop up some of that chicken and we're going to heat that up for probably nachos for IT guy. And I usually just eat a bowl. Like I have like a taco salad. So we'll see. We'll see how hungry I am when I'm done with all this. And also before stream in my little baby crock pot here, I've got some refried beans and salsa and queso. That's what's in there. And while we're waiting, you know what? We can do one little thing while we're waiting. This is day 2 of our sourdough. All I'm supposed to do today is stir it. So we're going to give it a stir. It is a little bigger than it was yesterday. So we're supposed to scrape down the sides a little bit and then give it a good stir. So no mold. Doesn't smell sour. That's good. Those are all good signs. So we'll see. That's day 2 done. That's all we have to do. We don't start feeding it, I guess, until tomorrow. I'm going to take this little guy and I'm going to put him over here. Poblanos can be spicy. So I tend to use about half of what they say. Anaheims are not quite as spicy as poblanos. So that was a good question. All right, I think, let me toss one in here. How we doing? Not quite ready. Let's turn you up one more. Come on, y'all. Behave yourselves. Actually, while we're waiting, I need the zest of a lime. So, Mexican cooking uses a lot of limes. You ever notice that? In their drinks as well as their food. Ooh, that's a good lime. It smells wonderful. Also, did you know not all limes are green? There are yellow limes. I forget where I was that I found that out. It's like, what? Not lemons, they are limes. So that was a funny thing to find out. Okay, a bunch of it's falling there on the ground. I don't know what's happening right there. Unless they're just not going through. Also, when you've got something like a lime, limes are hard to juice if you don't know that. Thank you, Christy. I appreciate that. But let's see here. What ought to do? I'm going to gather up this zest. It didn't make it in my little holder there. And yes, my table is clean. I wiped it up before I started things. So I'm going to put that for right now, right in there, my little collector. So, but if you take a piece of citrus, especially like a lime, and if you roll it like this, it's easier to juice because you've already kind of pre-juiced it inside. I don't know. Sometimes I think people know things and I say something like that and they're like, what? I never heard of that. Well, yeah. All right, so let's try this again. A little piece of onion. Yep, I think we're ready. All right, so we're going to toss in the onions and the garlic. They're going to get sizzly on us. And now I'm going to put on a pair of gloves because I'm going to grab those peppers out. Okay. We will stir those up. So I have a gas stove, so we cook those over the gas flame. You can also do them under the broiler. That works. But we chose the gas stove. And then you put them in a bowl for 10 to 15 minutes. And if we did this right, the burnt parts should pretty much just do what they did. Pretty much just slide right off. So we didn't get the ends. Anaheims are not the easiest thing because they're long and they're skinny. So, but okay. I want to put that back in there. It's okay if you leave a little bit of that on there. Oh, I'm going to turn this down. Some people like a lot of the char in there. I don't, but some people do. I think some people put water in the bowl too when they do that. So exactly, yeah. If you do red bell peppers that way, some people like to roast their red bell peppers. What do you use your roasted red peppers for? Do you make like a tomato soup with it, or do you use it in a specific dish, Christy? Just curious. Okay, I am going to toss in just a little bit of stock because this stuff is starting to. I don't want to burn my garlic. That will keep the garlic from burning. So it can, but like I said, some people just will like put a little bit of water in the bottom of the bowl. Um, so, ooh, this one's going to be stubborn. All right, I'm gonna do him last just in case. So, oh yeah, this guy's. Come on, you started out so nice. Behave yourself. Oh, nice. Okay. So then, whenever you need them, Christy, I think you and I could talk food for hours if we ever meet up face to face. All the fun things to do with food. So, and I get it. Not everybody likes to cook, which is why, I will never say, if you're like, I would never go to that trouble. I get it. Because there's other things I see that people do, and I'm like, I would never go to that trouble. And, and like I've told you guys, there's a lot of things I do on here that I might not do if it was just us. I do things so that we can all experience it together, which I think is kind of cool. So, so that's always an interesting way of thinking about things too. So we did not get the tips of these cooked at all, so they will just get cut off. But I don't really need a ton of peppers. Peppers? Sound like I'm from Alabama. Peppers? I'm not making fun of Alabama. I'm just saying I know what sounds like down there. But I used to be able to do them all the southern, because I had friends from all of those places. So my aunt's from Louisiana, and she is from. My aunt was part Cajun, so she's no longer with us. But she was from the Bayou. She was from Louisiana, but most of her life she lived in East Texas, just over the border. She was from around Lake Charles, if you know where that is. So there's that. I'm going to leave these on, but I'm going to wash them off. Rinse them off, and now we'll pull these guys out because we need to cut them open, get the seeds out, and then I will toss them in with the soup. Like I said, I don't know that we'll use all of them, but we'll use some. Bottoms off, tops off. IT guy did these different than I would have done, but you know what? Sometimes we just let it go because somebody's doing you a favor, right? So Anaheims don't have a lot of seeds, so that's a nice thing. You do have this little membrane inside that you might want to get rid of. Put that to the side. Do the next one. So these are kind of peppers I actually like. I'm not a fan of the bell pepper family. I can do the colored ones, cannot do the green ones. They're just, ugh. They do not digest well in my body. So, but I know people who love them. So, also what's interesting is that those peppers, like if you grow green peppers, you can now grow whatever color. But if you leave a green pepper on the vine, a lot of times they'll actually turn red. So I've had that happen with some of my peppers. When I used to grow green peppers, I honestly grew green peppers because I could. It was one of those things that I actually got to grow. And speaking of which, one of the things I'm terrible at growing, which is hilarious if you know anything about the Midwest, I have had the worst luck with zucchini. But what I read this year was you have to plant it early because the squash bugs, if you plant it like around now, that's when you get all the squash bugs. So we will see. I have one that is huge right now. The plant is huge. And I have a few blossoms on it. So we'll see if I get any measurable amount of zucchini off of it. And I like it. My husband loves it. But, I'm kind of in the like category when it comes to zucchini. But it's a great way to add veggies to things. When my kids were little, I did what I used to call stealth nutrition. And I would sneak vegetables into things. And my kids ate vegetables. They were not a problem with that. But, sometimes just when you're on the go and stuff, you're just not eating as healthy as you can be. So I would shred zucchini in my food processor. And then I would put that into sauces and things like spaghetti sauce. And I babysat a girl one time that refused to eat vegetables. So one day she's like, I will never eat a vegetable. I can taste them in anything. I was like, okay. So I was babysitting her one day and I made chocolate muffins. And do you know if you put spinach into chocolate muffins that you don't even know it's there? You can't see it, you can't taste it, you can't smell it, none of it. So I made these muffins. They love them, all of them. The kids all love them. Nobody knew the spinach was in there. And what was really funny is, and I knew her parents, and we had talked about it, and when I told her that she had eaten spinach, she got really mad at me. And about a week later, I was no longer babysitting that kid, but oh well. That's funny that you say that. My dad used to have a garden, and it was huge, and it was our job to weed the garden. And it was such a chore. And I really, really hated that job when I was a kid. Mostly because I hate cabbage worms. And I think I've talked about that before. I used to have to pick the cabbage worms off because I was the oldest. So that was my job. I was not happy about that, to be honest. So I did not want to grow cabbage for the longest time for that very reason. I love cabbage, but I do. I sometimes grow things I don't like just to see if I can grow them, and then I give them away to people I know that do like them. So I figure it's a nice way to give back. And my neighbor, we kind of use her fence as a trellis for tomatoes, and she loves tomatoes, and she also has a granddaughter who loves tomatoes. And when we're kind of done with tomatoes at the end, so that's what I got out of 4 Anaheim peppers, was about that much. It's about maybe half a cup. So I'm going to toss those in my soup. I'm going to put this over here. I'm going to need that again, so I will rinse that off in a minute. But I'm going to need this again. So I am going to get the gook off of it, and then I'm going to rinse both of those things, and let them sit in the dish drainer while I work on some of the other stuff. So, all right. So yeah, tonight I'm hoping I've got some scallop squash, which I've never tried to grow before, and I've got some pumpkin, and so those I need to. Those are big enough. They need to move. They need to be transplanted. I'm looking at them because they're out there in my little greenhouse. My poblanos aren't ready to be transplanted yet. They're only about this big. I'm going to wait till they're about that big. But I also have some tomato plants that are already planted that are too close together. So I'm going to move a couple of those. I think I got a loose hair on my face. I don't want that to fall into the soup. So, all right. Now, most of the recipes call for black beans. This is all I've got. I don't have black beans. So again, sometimes we hunt. Crushed tomatoes, and then fire roasted tomatoes are all called for in this particular soup. Oh, there it is. So in no particular order, we're going to put those in there. Make sure I don't miss anything. Got my garlic. Beans, I'm going to have to drain and rinse those. But the tomatoes can go right in. So yeah, I've talked to my husband. I said, ideally what I'd love to do is turn our entire backyard into like a mini food forest. And he's like, have at it. So it's like, less I have to cut. So I think we're going to, each year, we'll just plant a few more things. One of the things I want to get in the ground, and it's right about the time to do it, is something called amaranth. And it's what they call a pseudo cereal, because it's actually a seed. It's not like wheat, but it can be made to perform like a grain, if you will. So I am, it's gorgeous to grow it. And I've got it, I'll have to show it to you. I'll try to bring the things tomorrow to show you. But they grow like this high, and they've got, when they flower, when they're ready to harvest, they're like all these beautiful, like magenta and purple, gorgeous colors. And I'm like, oh, I got to find a way to find a place for that. And apparently they're not something you have to give a lot of attention to. So you plant it, you make sure that it gets to a certain height, and then you can just let it be. It can even thrive in drought. So um, it's one of those things I could plant at the back of my property that doesn't have to be watered a lot. So, but what's very interesting, oh, yum, they're fire roasted, the tomatoes. And I don't have any tomatoes yet, so we'll get there. But all right. I'm going to use this guy. Drain the beans. I know, I hear you, Maya. That's my next door neighbor's dog. She comes out and she barks for one of my dogs. And then the minute he like comes out to her, she like walks away. We laugh. She's that dog. Oh, so beans are going in. And honestly, it's not hot yet. So I'm going to switch this over to the slow cooker. I'm going to turn this off for just a few minutes because I will be using it again. But I might as well put it in here and let it simmer. Everything's basically cooked that's going in here. It'll just have to simmer for a little bit, and it's on high. So the beans went in. Got a bag of corn. It's about the number of ounces it calls for, so that's good. We will have to season this up and stuff, but so use whatever you want. You could char the corn if you wanted. We'll be doing that next week. We're gonna do a day where we're gonna make not on the cob, but we're gonna do like an elote type of corn. And then there's that, and we're gonna put the rest of this chicken stock in there. All right, so there's that. I'll rinse that out in a little bit. Got a lime zest. We'll put that so it doesn't fall in because that one can rip you up. So, very careful about that one. Okay, hang on a second here. I'm going to do this in a really weird way. Shh, you didn't see this. Okay. Now, this is something I learned recently too. I always thought when you juice something like this, you put it in like this. Turns out, you put it in upside down and you'll get more juice out of it. So we're going to do this. I couldn't believe, I tried it. I tried 2 halves of the same, and I didn't push that as hard as I could, but I tried it with 2 halves of the same fruit, so I knew it was the same kind of consistency. I got like twice as much out of it doing it this way. I was shocked. Like all these years. And I didn't have one like this for the longest time. I had a regular, like, one of the kinds you go like that, the old-fashioned ones. Although mine was made out of stainless steel, so it wasn't all that old-fashioned. But yeah, I was like, really? Then you feel goofy. Ow, it's hot for not knowing it. But get these guys out of the way. And let's clean up our space. Like I said, this is the hardest part for me, is that I just got to throw things to the side. And I'm not, if you saw my house, you would know I'm not that way. So, yeah, I know. Isn't that nuts? But one thing I learned how to do, and I think it was because I had a small kitchen for a long time, is I learned how to clean as I go when I cook. And so not being able to do that, and then I get done and I'm so tired, I'm like, oh, I don't want to clean the kitchen. So thank goodness I have a husband who's incredibly helpful in the kitchen. And then I'll make this one of these days soon, because I'm about out. Matter of fact, I will be making it very soon. I have my own taco seasoning mix. So I'm just going to use a little bit of that. I need some more for the chicken. That should be enough. But it's a taco seasoning mix that I have developed over the last, I don't know, 15, 20 years. And that smells good. And it's just, I give it away as a gift. And I have one nephew that's like, a couple years I didn't have any, and he's like, you don't have any? I was like, sorry, I'll make you some. He likes his a little spicier, so I make, and he has 6 kids, so I make a family one, and then I make him his own, and he just absolutely loves that. So, all right, next we are going to shred up some chicken, or actually we're going to cut up some chicken, but this girl's going to put a glove on. These are biodegradable, in case anybody's new. I'm that girl. I want the biodegradable stuff. So, and when it comes to stuff you can put on top of this, I mean, you can put all kinds of stuff on there. It's completely up to you and your taste. If you like spicy, throw some jalapenos on there. If you don't like spicy, don't. You can put just tortilla strips on top. You can add some more lime to it. It's what suits your taste. Make you happy. If you're eating food that makes you feel good, especially if it's fairly healthy food, that's what life should be all about, in my opinion. If we don't enjoy life, what's the point, right? And not every day is, it isn't all rainbows. I can tell you that. I've had some rough times. Not as rough as other people, and much rougher than some. So, I have taken a newborn directly from hospital to hospice, so that my father could meet his namesake. And they only got 28 days together. So, and there really wasn't even that, because the last 8 days my father was in hospice. He was unresponsive. So, 4 weeks after my dad passed, or after I had a baby, my father passed. And then 4 months after that, my father-in-law passed. It was kind of a rough year. So, and then when number 3 was on his way, my water broke 13 weeks early, and I spent 8 weeks in the hospital, away from my children for the most part. I got to see them twice a week. This was before we all had FaceTime and all that good stuff. So this was in 2000. So that was fun. Not. But to my one sister-in-law's credit, my kids have birthdays in March, and I was at the hospital, and Fat Tuesday has always been a big fun day for our family when our kids were little. And so she made sure that that those parties, the nurses let us use their lunchroom. They were so nice. So we fed them all cake. Um, but that was a rough time. It really was. Let's see here. How are we going to do this? I think this will be enough for the meat. And if it's not, I'll just make more. So I really just need to warm it up a little bit. So yeah, after IT guy was born, we spent 8 weeks in the hospital together, and then he spent 5 more in there, and he actually came home on his due date, which was funny. So what a relief when he came home. He had a lot of setbacks, and part of those setbacks were things that you wouldn't have expected necessarily. But he has a pituitary disorder. So we were always worried about growth and health. It's a really scary thing when the doctor tells you that your child could literally die from a broken arm or having the flu because his body doesn't go into shock like ours does. So yeah, that's fun. But he's done well. He's actually done well, better than most people with his situation, his disorder, condition, whatever you want to call it. I guess it's a condition. So we are grateful for that. A lot of the kids that have what he has have 1 to 2 hospital admissions a year, and he has had 2 in his lifetime. So actually just one in his lifetime. So, and that wasn't even for that; it was for an operation that he needed for something else. So anyhow. But oh man, so all right, let's talk about Mexican food. All right, I love Mexican food. I could have it every week. Uh, my husband's not too thrilled about tacos and stuff like that, but I love them. And but he likes a good burrito, and he loves an enchilada. So next week we're actually going to do another. I said we were making an elote kind of side dish, and then to go with that, I'm going to do an enchilada casserole. That will make my husband happy. Enchiladas are that's his favorite thing. So, all right, I hope that's enough for everybody. I think it will be. Turn that down. And I'm using the same spoon as I do for my soup. Yes, I am. So we're going to warm that up a bit. And really, that's all we need to do with the soup, but I would like it to be boiling. If we get all the meat stuff made and it's still not boiling, I'll put it back on here to boil for a few minutes. So I also found a really interesting corn and pasta recipe I'm excited to try next week. Next week, I forget which day it is. I think it's National Corn on the Cob Day, but it's getting to that season. I don't know where you live, but if you live where I do in the Midwest, corn is starting to show up in the grocery stores, and that's exciting. So that makes me very happy. Oh dear, that won't go in there. Sorry, bubbles just flew everywhere when I tried to put the cutting board in the dish drainer. Still drink here. But we were talking about the amaranth before. I can't remember what I bought this for because I just bought it recently. But I needed self-rising flour for something. And this one is it's quinoa flour, potato starch, tapioca starch, cornstarch, amaranth flour. Actually, it's sugar in it, baking powder, and a couple other things. So actually, it's a little grape juice concentrate and what kind of fiber? Carrot fiber in there. So who knows? We'll make something with it. Maybe I'll go on their website and see if they've got something. But so it's a fairly high. I mean, there's in a quarter cup, it's only 20 grams of carbs, which is not much. And then it also has 2 grams of protein in every quarter cup. So, but amaranth is supposed to be good for like all kinds of things, especially for women and their particular needs, if you will. So, dumpling lasagna. I liked it once I added some soy sauce and some chili crisp to it. I had the soy wrappers. My family said that they would like to try it again, but with regular wonton wrappers, because they said the rice paper was too like sticky. It wasn't like a dumpling wrapper. So the meat they liked, but they also seasoned it up more. And so the verdict was, yes, we would eat it again, but not with the rice paper sheets. And I tried the rice paper sheets. I get where they're coming from. You know, it was, like I said, a little gummy, I think is what the way they characterized it. If you go to Costco, these are the best tortilla chips around. I'm just saying. And they're not expensive. Like this big bag right here, this costs less than a little bag of Tostitos. I think the Tostitos the other day were like $7, and I think these are $4.99 or $5.99. It might be $5.99 now, but still, I'm like, that's nuts. That's that much. I mean, ounce for ounce, it's that much better price-wise. So IT guy opted for nachos. That's what he said he wanted to try with this stuff. So we're doing that. I'm gonna warm this up just a little bit more. And this will have to go into the microwave. So IT guy, if you can hear me, can you, I think he's upstairs with the dogs. Can you come down here, please? I'm gonna need you. Also, ooh, pardon my reach. This stuff, especially for Mexican food, if you like your sour cream really sour, good for you. But this stuff is amazing. Mexican crema. So, oh, it's not a clothespin, but it looks kind of like one. This is something my mom used to buy these. And for some snacks, they're amazing. So I tend to use the bigger plastic ones, but whatever kind of cheese you want me to put on this, if you would get that out of the fridge, please. And do you want me to add this kind of queso, or you want the stuff with chorizo in it? If you want the chorizo, grab the chorizo stuff. Okay. So can you tell we're a Costco family? Kirkland cheese. And this stuff, oh my gosh, it's so good. It's not like super spicy. You know, those clips, by the way, a little bit of this. Okay. Those clips, by the way, that I just put on there. Those, I think you can get those if you got a Dollar General, believe it or not, you can get them there. So I'm going to put just a little bit of the queso on there with the chorizo in it. Some on that side and a little on that side. Come on, baby. I don't know why I would put toothpaste on nachos, but you know, if that's what you like, go for it, friend. So, okay. So now we'll get some of the regular queso. Oh, put some of that on. I'm going to put that one back in there just because I will use it again. And we're going to, oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to put the taco seasoning. So, hi, Carol. Welcome in. So, oh, the binder clips are used around here. As a matter of fact, I didn't have any. I got some mesh to put over my gardens, and I didn't have any clips for the mesh. They didn't send. I thought they would come with the mesh, and they didn't. So until we could get some clips, we used binder clips for that. I get where you're coming from on there, Christy. Binder clips are like very versatile. So, like I said, you do you, dear. If you want to add toothpaste, you go for it. But again, just add a little bit of the taco seasoning. We need to make that. Were you listening to that part? So we need to make some of the taco seasoning. Maybe we can do that on camera at some point. Maybe Friday, because I don't have a lot for Friday. We're gonna make a homemade veggie burger. I'm a little worried about that. So, okay, so there's that. Ta-da! And IT guy's pretty basic with his nachos, so oh God, no, I'm not going to eat the whole thing. This isn't even for me. This is for my son. So, and he's in his 20s, so he can eat whatever the heck he wants. He's still in that mode. So that's his. You want to pop that in the, he's going to pop that in the microwave until it's his desired whateverness. So, all right. So, you crack me up. Oh, let's see. You know what? I think I will go ahead with I'm just going to make a taco for myself because I'm really not all that hungry. And I'm really hoping, I think we're going to have to put the soup back on the burner because it's just not getting hot enough, fast enough. And I want it to be at a boil before we try it. So I'm going to make a switch here, but I am going to put on I prefer not to burn my hands. So I will be, I'm going to sit that there for a second. I'm going to put this back on here, and I'm going to turn this back up so it'll get doing its thing, hopefully. Like I said, everything's cooked. It just needs to get warm. So, anyway. Oh, you know what I didn't put on your nachos? The beans. So if you want some, we'll get those ready for you. I'm going to have IT guy put this elsewhere, if you would, darling. Actually, I'm not sure where we're going to put it. Is this still hot? No. Okay. All right. I just put it on the stove. It'll be fine for a little bit. It gives me a little more room to do what I need to do. So, Just so you know, I'm assuming it's Ricardo. We just try to be nice here, friend. So we would appreciate if you would join in on the kindness. But I started before so that they could get warmed up. And again, I put salsa on them, put salsa in them, and then I also add some of that queso right there. So for me, I know it's a taco, but I like the beans. So I'm going to do some of the beans. This is my first time trying these. These are gluten-free. It doesn't say whether they want to, they call them tortilla wraps is what they call them. So that would be a very small wrap, to be honest. And then I'm going to get a little bit of the meat. I'm eating this backwards. Normally I would eat the soup first, but it still needs to do its thing. So let's see. Oh, and I'll use a lower fat cheese. Gonna grab my scissors. And then well, maybe I need to cut it some more. We'll have to see. But this one's cut really low, so nope, there's a hole right there. Come on, you. Behave yourself. There we go. Okay. Who knew that the cheese would be the hard part? Well, because, Ricardo, I'm on camera, and I actually always use scissors, but, you know, if I use my teeth, people can't even stand it when I, like, have an itchy nose and I rub my nose. So, you know. Okay, just so you know, that's a bot. That is not us. That's the bot saying, you're being a stinker. Don't do that. So, the bot has thrown people off of here before. Just so you know, not us, the bot. So, anyway. All right, so IT guy's stuff is done. And I'm going to have him switch us out. If you can put mine in just for about 20 seconds. Okay, so this is what his nachos look like. So are you going to add anything to that? Oh, okay. He's going to taste it. Then he'll let me know. So when mine comes out, I'm going to add. Okay, I know if you're Mexican, you're going to be so mad at me that I'm not using Yodez or one of those, but I love this. I have always loved this salsa. Even when the restaurant went out of business, I still use their salsa. So I will add a little of their salsa to it. And then I'm going to add a little of the crema as well. Man, I'm using a lot of spoons today. There might be some in the microwave after that, dear, just so you know. All right, so I'm going to open this little bugger back up. Ooh, that's hot. So, all right. Again, like I said, a little bit of salsa. Yeah, that's going to be plenty. I had a big lunch. I met a friend for lunch today. So, I love a good catch up over lunch. Not catch up the stuff, but I love to chat with friends over lunch. So, actually, Ricardo, it will be, that soup will be around for a while. So I will probably be nibbling on that for a while unless I give some away, which could very well happen. I tend to give a lot of food away, especially if it's something that my family's not real thrilled about and I like. It's just, I don't want to eat it every day for days on end. So come on, you. Ah, there we go. There we go. but it's thinner than sour cream, but it's also not as sour as sour cream, to be honest. I meant to drizzle that a little more, like that. Okay. And tomorrow I'm meeting another friend, but we're going walking. We're going to do like a 3-mile walk tomorrow. So that'll keep me busy. But and then I'm just gonna clean the back of this spoon off right here so that it doesn't get the lid all messy. Okay, I'm gonna sit down to take a bite on this. And this is starting to get burbly, so that's good. This thing is huge, y'all. Turned out much bigger than I thought it would. So I guess IT guy and I are going to be taking our first bites about the same time. All right, here we go. Let's see if these are better than just a basic corn tortilla. We'll see. Hi, Carol. Got here just in time for the taste testing. Today we're making. For a second, I thought I got it on my nose. We're making tortilla soup, and I'm having a soft taco. We're using rotisserie chicken, and decided to go south of the border today with our rotisserie chicken. So I love Mexican food, and it's really interesting. I watch a lot of food shows, and Mexican food is just now starting to show up, like in the UK. So all this stuff we've all been eating all our lives, they're just starting to discover, which is kind of cool. Bad? Whatever. IT guys got my back. So. Okay. These are pretty good, which is exciting because then when I make the enchilada casserole next week, I'll talk to the guys. Um, Christy, you're hilarious. Um, he keeps his eye out, that's for sure. But I'm not sure that they'll like these, so we'll have to decide whether we want to use corn tortillas or whether we want to try the enchilada casserole with these guys. So, of course, the other thing I could do is make individual ones. So we'll have to see what works. But the beans are great. I mean, it's just canned refried beans, like I said, with some queso in it and some salsa, which IT guy really likes. Mr. 513, he's not a big fan of the beans, but every time I make this stuff without the beans, IT guy is kind of bummed. So anyway, oh, good. The soup looks like it's ready. So that's happy food right there. Tacos are happy food to me. Mexican food in general is happy food, minus the cilantro. So if you like it, use it. I don't. Which is funny because this actually has cilantro listed, but it's so far down, you can't taste it at all. So next up, I'm going to grab a bowl here. Again, if you're a person who likes avocado, I highly encourage you to put it on this soup because I know it's served often with avocado. I'm allergic, so this girl doesn't do avocado. Hopefully this is burbled enough. I'm just going to take a little bit just in case. Everything was already cooked, like I said, except for the... Okay. Just just a little bit. That's plenty, I think. So I'm going to take this right over here. That'll be nice because Mr. IT, or not IT, Mr. 513 can get his stuff when he comes back. So again, I'm just going to drizzle a little bit of the queso in there because the stuff is that good. It's plenty. I like cheese. Can you tell? Well, there are 3 of us here. So, you know, it's funny. If you speak Spanish at all, which I don't speak much. I took enough in high school to get by. I took 5 years, actually, in junior high and high school. 5 years of Spanish. And from junior high through senior high. And then my husband and I he works with a lot of crews that have native Spanish speakers. And so he wanted to learn, at least to be able to understand some Spanish. So we are doing Duolingo together. He's mad at me because I'm about twice as far as he is. So, oh. It does need to cook a little longer to let the flavors develop a bit. But oh man, that's good, you guys. Got the corn in there. It's got the peppers. You've got the beans. You've got the chicken. I added the lovely queso and cheese. My husband's going to be delighted because he loves it when there's cheese stuck to the spoons. So, Ricardo, it depends on if I give it away, and I do give a lot of it away. I have a neighbor that I give food to sometimes, and I have a sister-in-law who feeds a lot of people, including transient people. So sometimes I give her my food if I know it's something we can't eat in time. And tonight's trash night, so I'll be doing some clearing out. And if there's things that are still good that I don't think we're going to eat, but they're still very good to eat, I will share. I will pass some of those things along. So here's the deal. The rotisserie chicken works great. And the soup, and the tacos, and the nachos are all good. Yeah, I agree with you, Christy. The next day, they always taste better. So I'm going to let this burble away for a little bit, and then I will store it for tomorrow. And that's probably going to be lunches for several days. And like I said, I may give some of it away. Tomorrow. What are we cooking tomorrow? Do you remember? I don't remember either. Tomorrow's Wednesday. Yeah, go look at our. I put our menu up every week, so we always know what's coming. So tomorrow is Wednesday. Oh, tomorrow I'm making a frittata. That is a favorite dinner around here. Breakfast for dinner is pretty popular around here, so we're going to make a frittata, and then I forget what else. There's something else I'm going to make with it, but I just put frittata on there for now. So we're going to have a lovely frittata. I think I'm doing ham, broccoli, and probably potatoes to add to it, which means, again, I won't be cooking this weekend because there'll be lots of leftovers. So anyway, I appreciate you guys for being here. You guys are awesome. If you're not subscribed, please do. We are going to work really, really hard this month to get to 1,000 subscribers. We have a long way to go, but we so appreciate those of you who show up. We appreciate those of you who engage in meaningful conversation, and we will see you again tomorrow at 3:30. Have a great day. Eat well, be well, And I love you guys.